Here on the Bearded Chef today, we'll be going over some basic knife skills. There's a few items you will need: a dry cloth, a wet cloth, a chef's knife, a cutting board, and a few vegetables to cut up. So now that we got all our items ready and to go, let's get set up. If you follow me over to the cutting board, I will show you how I do it. So the first thing you would want to do is take your wet cloth, get it wet, unfold it, set it down on the counter, and then put your cutting board over top of it. So we put the wet cloth underneath the cutting board so it can't slide around while we're chopping. If you have it sliding around, you're more likely to cut yourself. It's always good to have your dry cloth on the side for wiping your blade after each cut, and to have your knife and a steel. So the steel is for honing the edge after cuts and things like that. So let's get to chopping. So the first thing that we're going to go over today is how to hold a knife. So a lot of people want to hold a knife like this, where you have no control, no power, no nothing under it. So what we do is called the pinch grip. So you hold it there, circle hands around, and now you have control over the blade. So let me grab a carrot and demonstrate some of the basic things that we can do with a knife while cutting. So right now this carrot can roll around on this cutting board and all that. So first rule though is to tuck your fingers and use your knuckles as a guide. So we're cutting and we created a flat spot now. So when we put that down, it's not rocking. So if we always use the 3-finger rule, 1 in front, 2 behind, these ones behind, you'll never cut yourself. So we're going to do our basic rocking cut. So when I'm doing this, I'm using my knuckle as the guide. So my knuckle as the guide. So don't worry about the speed. Speed will come with time. So you can and the ends are waste. So now that we have those done, we can place them in a bowl and use them for whatever you want. So that cut is called just called rounds. Those are just little rounds. The scraps you can either use for stock or soups, or you can toss them out or put them in your compost. So next little carrot, see, rolls around. We're going to use our 3-finger technique. Cut a flat spot. Now it's not going to roll around. In a lot of recipes you hear chefs saying you need to top and tail your vegetables, which meaning this is your tail and that's your top, so you need to cut those off. So using the 3-finger rule, you top and you tail it. Toss those away or put them in your stock, compost, whatever you would like. Now we're going to learn a julienne cut, I guess we'll call it. So 3-finger rule, right? You want about say a 1/4 inch thick, right? Rotate onto the flat side and cut. Now those are still pretty big, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the finger rule and cut. So now we got our julienne carrots. Now if we want to go to a step further, we can go into a dice. So on this, you want to tuck your fingers again and use your thumb and your pinky to keep them in. And let your knife do the work. Always cleaning off your blade. Now that we got our dice, we used for sauces, for a roux, for any sort of thing like that. So now that we've learned some of the basic knife skills in the kitchen, we can now put them to use into sauces or any sort of cutting that you need to do in the kitchen. Good practice to always clean your knife before you put it away and make sure it's dry so it doesn't rust or have any corrosion on it. Another practice is between cuts to use a steel, which we'll go over in another video. But for now, hit that subscribe and like button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.